footwork, if I have somebody prone, I don't have a preference if you start side lying, start prone, start supine. For most of you, are the bulk of you doing like 30-minute and hour sessions? Are there any of you, what do you do? 1580? That's spot. 2 hours sometimes? Okay. It doesn't matter to me how you work. What I encourage you to do is just to, I give you some tools, you play with them, you just kind of change it up. Do you ever do the sequence kind of the same way each time? It's always prone starting? I get a little bored. Sometimes when I'm doing mat sessions, the client will say, "How do you want me?" And I'll say, "I don't know, just lay down." Because I'll kind of let them pick, because if they like to sleep like on their side, they'll inevitably like grab one of the bolsters and like lay down on their side, and then I'll start side lying. But it makes it more interesting also to see like what they choose. If I'm working on feet, I could come in and do something like this. Usually what I see mostly is it's a challenge for students to get into position. A lot of it depends on limb length between therapists and clients. And in addition, you have to be careful because people are face down with communication, particularly when you're bending their knee side to side, depending on their position on the table. The most important part to me in a way is this: passive body contact. Now, Rebecca, I cannot see your ibrometer. So if there's ever too much pressure, I need you to tell me verbally, okay? Yeah, that's how you'll address that. And if I ever get into anything and I have to check in and I go, "Listen, Rebecca, is that too much right there?"
No, that's good.
All right, good. I can be as pointy or as broad as I want. If I need to prop them up higher, if I didn't like the way my thigh was hitting or something, I could always stack them. You could, but normally just bare feet. But in this case, I could just work through a sock. It wasn't going to bother anything. Now, I can come in and use my fingers to kind of feel my way around. But once I feel something kind of dense or tight, I just think it's an easier way to save your hands using your forearm and elbow. I would usually, in that case, work one at a time. I'm going to give her a little bit more support under her feet here. And if I was working on someone particularly that was a bit taller, I'm going to demonstrate this and I'm going to change the body mechanics. I'm not necessarily recommending you get on the table, but if you get on the table, if you distribute your weight through the client, that's completely different than me putting my knee down in the center of one of these squares. It'll crack, right? But if I come up, in her case, hey. Working the foot with using their body as a prop, as a giver, allows them to use a deeper compression and form more intimate contact with the client. They get a multitude of body positions so they can ease their own strain while they work. Rebecca, is that too much?
No, that's good.
Okay. If I just distribute pressure right there, is that comfortable?
Yes.
Okay. How are your calves? Tell me if this is too much.
No, that's good.
All right, there we go. So as I move around, I'm able to move my knees on her feet and then deliver compression to the calves at the same time. Now, if I'm in a facility like Massage Envy, I just got fired. If I'm working on a completely new female client, I wouldn't just dive right into this. They're going to mildly freak out. Cultural context, you have to consider it. Now, this line, that splits the bellies of gastrocnemius. How's that right there? Little tender. Ooh. And then I can palm right there. Not too much? I made this our first money today. I'm going to move my feet or my knees just a little bit higher. How's that right there? There we go. You could walk up into the hamstrings as well, but I just wanted to focus on the calves, just show a little bit of compression. If I decided to change the body mechanics, that's a good way to go. You see I distribute weight around the edges of the table to get off. On this side, I kind of sat on the outside. I'm going to see if I can sit on the inside on this one. I might open this leg a little bit wider. And see, yeah, this will work well. I'll give her Now, if I was at Massage Envy, come get me. But I can usually stack right here. Oh, this is good. I like this. I like this one a little bit better. How's that there? Good? Okay. Now, if I can change it just a little bit, if I change my position, can I do both? I'm just trying to see, and this is where you experiment. You play just a little bit. How's this? Oh, good. How's that? Is that too much on your knee or your hip?
It's a little twisty on the knee, but
Little twisty on the knee, so I'm going to back off that. What I would do is focus on one or the other. If I was going to get into the calf here, I just use my hands in the feet. Is that too much in the calf? Okay. Woo. Woo. The most important thing by far is just to communicate with the client and go slow. And when I say communicate, I even mean verbally and just asking them about pressure. So something like this, when you ask about, is Valerie? Yeah, when you ask about tissue warming up, I think this is more superficial than just compression. Make sense? And if I decide to switch it out for a second, I want to go back into the foot. Then if I bring her up and say I want to give her a little length at the end, can I stretch the feet and calf? How's that? Okay. How's this? Body mechanics aren't perfect. I could probably stand up and do this. In fact, if I bring her up right here, how's that? Yeah. Still working the feet. You could still work the calf from this direction as well. If I want to come in with the fingers. How's that? Good. You guys want to try that? Yeah, but feel free to move around and play. The only thing is when you're moving them, just be cautious about the knee, this kind of side bending. You want to be careful and just ask them if it feels comfortable in their hip.